Guys, today we're going to do a reading lesson. I found this article from the Loyola magazine. This is the magazine that I get in the mail because Loyola University Chicago is my alma mater. That's where I got my undergraduate degree. So once in a while I get a magazine in the mail from them. I thought this article was kind of interesting and it would evoke some conversation, and also it's a topic that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Many of you know Mother Teresa. So I thought that'd be a great topic for you guys since everybody knows her and it's rather interesting. Basically, it is about a woman who graduated from Loyola and Mother Teresa inspired her. It's about her experience working with Mother Teresa in Calcutta. And so let's get started. So let's see here. So this is Mother Teresa and Me. That's the title. It says, the church's newest saint was much more than just an inspiration. By J. Breezer Rickey. I was 12 years old when I first read about Mother Teresa in a Chicago newspaper. She was identified as the saint of the gutters, and I was in awe of her love and compassion to serve the poorest of the poor. Frankly, I wondered if she was even real. So I decided to find out for myself by writing her a letter. Dealing with my own struggles at the time, I poured my 12-year-old heart out to her. Sure enough, Mother Teresa responded to my letter, giving me hope to continue through the pain I was feeling. Over time, her letters became the strength I needed in the darkest times. With her inspiration and encouragement, I decided at that point that I would devote my own life to serving others. Years later, at the age of 27, my dreams of serving the poor alongside Mother Teresa became a reality. I quit my job as a social worker in Chicago and hopped on a plane for Calcutta, India, to join Mother at one of her homes for the poor. Upon my arrival, I was immediately put to work. My first stop was Shishu Bhavan, a home for orphaned and sick children where all volunteers must start out. Most volunteers only last a few days, as the work is not easy and is often psychologically and physically draining. Because I was volunteering for longer than 3 months, I was able to work mornings at Calcutta, the home of the dying destitutes, and in the afternoons teaching math and English to children in the back alleys. But nothing, not even a master's degree in social work, could have prepared me for this. I had the opportunity to be with people who were literally dying, holding their hands, putting oil on their rough skin, picking worms from their stomach and lice from their hair. It was what all Christians are called to do, and I had the privilege of doing it alongside Mother Teresa. Mother's mission was to care only for those most in need, such as the people at Calcutta who were in their final 48 hours of life and had no one else. For some of my time in Calcutta, I lived at a guest house, and the rest of the time I lived at the Mother house where Mother and the other sisters resided. Living there was another humbling but gratifying experience. We awoke at 4:45 for morning prayers and washed our clothes on hard rocks. Sitting on the floor of the simple chapel with Mother and the other sisters for morning Mass prepared me for the strenuous work ahead. After Mass each day, Mother would bless us, and I felt the power of God come through her small hands. She was quite small in size, but robust in power and prayerfulness. Walking to work, I stumbled over people dying in the streets. I had to choose among them to decide who I would pick up and bring to Calcutta so they could spend their last 24 to 48 hours dying with dignity, being cared for by myself or one of the sisters. As Mother always reminded us, each of these untouchables was Jesus. After a year in Calcutta, I returned to Chicago, where I took to heart Mother's words about serving those most in need. I worked as a therapist for children and teenagers with HIV and AIDS, then worked at a residential treatment facility for runaway teens. Hoping to make a larger impact, I came to Loyola to pursue a second master's degree in organizational development and started my own consulting practice, which allows me to weave together my faith, passion for social justice, and leadership skills. Today I serve in a variety of roles as a management and leadership consultant for nonprofits, a therapist for families moving overseas, an administrator of bullying prevention programs in the Archdiocese of Chicago, all of which are an extension of my time in Calcutta and my Jesuit education. Loyola has given me the tools to truly implement the concept of being a person for others, and I've been privileged to pass that on to students in the School of Social Work graduate program as a professor for the past 10 years. When Mother died, I returned to Calcutta and joined the sisters in preparing her body for visitors to pay their last respects. For the funeral, I rounded up some people from her homes to participate in the Mass, knowing that having some of her beloved people involved in the funeral would be just what Mother would have wanted. In 2003, I had the honor of attending Mother's beatification in Rome. This past September, I traveled there again to be present at the canonization, where she became an official saint of the Catholic Church. Of course, I've always considered her to be a living saint, but it was still appropriate for her to be officially recognized by the Church. I could go on and on about my time in Calcutta and how Mother inspired me as a child and even now as an adult. But Mother Teresa was not just an inspiration to me. She helped me through my darkest moments, filling a significant void, first through her letters and later as a personal role model. Being a person for others is more than a catchy slogan. It is a way of life that isn't always easy, but one that is rewarding and life-giving. Along with St. Ignatius of Loyola, our new St. Teresa of Calcutta serves as a role model who taught me to see God in everyone. I can only hope that I might be half of the inspiration to my college and graduate students as Mother was to me. And it talks about the author here, J. Breezer Rickey. It says she is a licensed clinician and organizational consultant in Chicago. In addition to being a Loyola alumna, she is also on faculty at the university, teaching graduate and undergraduate courses in the areas of leadership, ethics, and race. If we look back here, basically, I was looking at this word frankly. When you're saying frankly or to be frank, that means to be honest. You could replace this word with honestly. Honestly, I wondered if she was even real. To pour one's heart out, when you say I pour my heart out, that means that you're letting out all of your emotions. You're being very raw with how you tell someone how you're feeling. When something is draining, that means it's very tiring. You're very tired from doing the work. And usually when something is draining, it can be from mental, emotional, or physical work. It's not necessarily just physical work. But when you feel drained, you feel very, very tired. Strenuous. Strenuous means very difficult work. Robust in power. Robust is like full of power. So the exact definition of robust is having or exhibiting strength or vigorous health, having or showing vigor, strength, or firmness. So that's what they're saying, that she was very powerful, especially in her prayer. or just as a human being. When you stumble, it's like you're walking and then, so you're walking and then you stumble, you come over something. When they refer to the people as being untouchable, also when you see me do this, it's representing the quotes, the quotations. But basically when they're talking about these people being untouchable, they're saying that the way that society looked at them, nobody wanted to help them. Nobody wanted to physically touch them or see them or deal with them in any way. So it's not, when they say untouchable, we're not just talking literally about touching somebody. We're talking about the way society treated them, and they treated them like they weren't worthy of being helped. But as Mother Teresa saw it, each person has God in them, so that everybody should be treated fairly and justly, and with respect. When she says weave together, so weave is like put together. This would be like looking like a weave. So you're combining, all of the things that she's talking about: faith, passion, social justice, and leadership skills. So she's putting all those things together, weaving them together. Okay, so that's the main part of the reading and vocabulary lesson. But now we can talk about, the type of work that people do. All of us might feel called to do different things, but I think that this article is interesting because it's very unique to have worked with Mother Teresa, and somebody actually saying what they're going to do. I think, a lot of us maybe think about helping people, but how many of us actually live it out and do it? So it's inspiring to think about somebody who dedicated their life to others. And, it's just something to consider just in life in general, how we all treat each other. Some of the things that they mentioned in here with how sick people were, and just how dirty and unsanitary the conditions were in Calcutta at that time, and how she had to help those people, and doing it without being afraid. And also I thought it was interesting how she said, not even a master's degree can prepare you for this. I think experience in life is everything, and we need more experience in our education. That's why when I teach online or do these videos with you guys, I don't want it to be just talking. And if you see in some of my videos from the summer, I took you out on experiences. I did vlogs to show you guys things. Even with reading, I consider reading an experience. But obviously doing things hands-on is so beneficial. So I totally agree with that. When you experience something, that's when you're really living it. You can study something all you want, but really you're not going to know until you actually do it. I said the same thing about teaching, and I know other teachers have too, that when you actually start teaching, everything you learned in school, it has nothing to do. I mean, obviously some of it helps you, just knowing the philosophies or whatever, but actually living it and doing it, that's what really teaches you. There's nothing like that first year of teaching. And obviously something like this, I mean, you can't even compare to just teaching, but that's like a whole other level. But anyway, in the comments, I encourage you guys to write about your experiences. What is something that you did that couldn't have been taught in school? I'd love to hear from you. So also, I hope that you guys, number one, you write down vocabulary today from what you learned, and number two, you write either a summary or some kind of response to this to practice your English, or something that inspired you from this, whatever you feel inspired to write about. But reading and writing really go hand in hand. And then third, I challenge you to talk to somebody else about this article, or to talk to somebody else about what you learned today in this lesson. So really taking those language domains, reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Do all four: reading, speaking, listening, and writing. When you start to practice all four of those all the time, that's how you will see progress in your language. Okay? So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and until next time, bye!